Excited to offer some expanded opportunities to have multiple programs at the library, both in the story room, the community room at the same time, as well as be able to invite the public to be able to use the space.
We are so excited for all the new library will be able to offer to our community. Having wonderful spaces for families and individuals to hang out, explore, and enjoy the library will be wonderful. Our study rooms will be a great place for community members of all ages to meet, research, or read. And we're excited about the meeting room space available for people to connect with each other in the community.
Thank you so much for visiting the new library with us today. We're so excited to welcome you in and show you more in the future. Bye.
So if not January, February probably for sure.
For sure.
I mean, I think it'll be hard for us to have occupancy if we don't have internet, correct?
We don't need, internet is not required to live in a building, so we have occupancy, we should have occupancy today.
Would we be able to open the library without internet?
We got occupancy with 100-degree temperatures on our second floor, so you absolutely can get
Say what?
Really?
Yeah.
There's 100 degrees. What?
How? It's not that.
I didn't measure exactly, but it's pretty high.
I believe you.
It sounds like maybe there's an HVAC issue.
They're just not done yet, so they don't have the controls in place yet. So it's not broken, it's just not finished.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
There's still time.
So just bring your
we do
toga
have
and your
occupancy.
sauna.
And we also do not have internet.
You also what?
And we also do not have internet.
You mean-
Those things are both true.
Boost the Wi-Fi
Yeah.
from my house. I'm sure that'll be strong enough. There won't be any problems, guys.
All right, are we ready? It is 5:16 on Wednesday, December 13th. I'd like to call this meeting of the Oregon Public Library Board to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Stata.
Here.
Kaplan.
Here.
Besson.
Here.
Bergstrom.
Here.
Bonsonfield.
Here.
And Nelson and Reese. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. I would entertain a motion to adopt or amend the agenda.
So moved. To adopt the agenda. I don't want to amend it at all.
Thank you.
Do you need a second?
I do.
Okay, sure.
Thanks, John. All in favor of adopting the agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
The
we have
amended?
agenda. Yeah, we adopt.
We're getting
the
there.
amended.
We're getting there.
It's a day. It's been a day. All right. Any community input this evening? Boys? Okay. Moving on to 5A, amend or approve minutes from the November meeting.
I would move to approve the minutes from the November meeting.
Thank you.
I will second.
Thank you, Leslie. Any comments, discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving minutes from November?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Review and payment of available bills and financial reports.
I am happy to answer any questions that you may have about either, but I don't have anything in particular to highlight tonight.
Any questions or?
I should note, we did not receive the Tri-North Pay app yet for this month, so you do not see that on here because we have not yet received it. I should also point out, I do need to add this. We got one additional bill that requires prompt payment, so we added one to the list called Transformations, which Laura has handwritten on page 2, so if you want to pass that around. Carlene, since you're on the phone, that bill is for $6,438.38. It's for furniture for the new library, and that's just an invoice that's added to the voucher list.
So you're not gonna make one sit on the floor?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you?
I said, you're not gonna make folks sit on the floor?
It's gonna make anyone sit on the floor.
No.
Not if they don't want to.
All right.
So if we had a vote to, or a motion to approve, we would want it to reflect that that's including that additional bill, just for clarification.
Moved.
Thank you, John. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Second.
Oh,
Let's let Carlene. have
thanks,
this one.
Carlene. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approving the payment of bills, financial reports, including the 6,000, et cetera, from Transformations, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, thank you, everybody. Moving on to 6A, building project report and schedule.
And Jeff is running a few minutes late, so if we could return to this
Yeah.
one whenever he arrives, we'll do that right away when he gets here.
Sounds great. Library director's report.
So first thing I want to talk about is moving report. We started moving on Monday, and we're 3 days in. They were expecting it to stay 6 to 8 days, and we will be done tomorrow, very likely.
What?
With the exception that we're having some temperature challenges on the second floor to the point where it's not really comfortable for staff to unpack things. And then Kelly and I haven't had time to finish packing our offices because of all the other things going on. So we'll have to coordinate. They might need to make another trip back, but I think we're going to have a hard time keeping the movers busy past noon. The building was very empty. So staff and the movers have all worked really hard. Laura was super organized. We had all the shelves labeled where everything went. She came in on a Saturday, 2 Saturdays in a row to make that happen. So I just want to give a shout out to her because everything went really fast and smoothly because of that. And we've had, our whole management team has really helped make sure all staff members know what's going on and where they can work, and they've just done an incredible job, and they're just all going above and beyond, and they all physically hurt and are very tired today because everybody just wants to do their best all the time, which is a great problem to have. Our staff also have done an incredible job. You know, everybody's working together alongside everybody else. Our hair's all messy, we're all sweaty by the time we leave, but everybody's still smiling, laughing, you know, working hard the whole time,
and taking breaks when they need to. So just really impressed with everybody and the teamwork and the positivity and the excitement and just the incredible job that they're all doing, no matter who they are and what their role is. They're all, working as hard as they can to get the move done. So we will likely be saving a lot of money on the move because of that, which is incredible as well. Laura, do you have anything you want to add to that? We will be closed. We closed, last day we were open to the public was on Saturday the 9th. So we will be closed to the public starting Monday and for the rest of December until the first week in January. So that is hard for folks who are used to using the library a lot. Their library card is available to use at any other library in Dade County. And then we will be reopening Book Drop on the 20th. So that is going to be closed temporarily, but once we can kind of start accommodating that, we'll open that up as soon as we can. So that will help some folks. We tried to put information everywhere, but people get information in so many different ways that, we didn't, reach everybody that we possibly would want to reach. There are folks still coming up and, a little surprised that we're not available to the public for those times. If it's okay, we'll go back to 6A, and then I'll finish up my report after Jeff is ready for tonight. Do you want to update folks on things? Thank you for coming.
Yes, so we're not done yet, but we're getting close. There's lots of librarians in there unloading and unpacking, and so we're overlapping a little bit more than we wanted to with Tri-North. But I just heard from Chad that we're going to get occupancy tomorrow. So the things that I guess the last time I was here, we were concerned about the elevator and the permanent power. And it was a little bit of a struggle with the elevator to get it done and approved. So that's what we were dealing with, a few weeks ago. But we got that taken care of. We got the fire department approval, which is always challenging. But we just got plumbing, electrical, and now the building inspector is supposed to give us final occupancy, hopefully tomorrow. And then we're completely, we're approved to open to the public. There's still work to be done. There's things that Tri-North are finishing up, and then there's a lot of work with, library staff getting everything ready to go. But at least we're approved to be open, and then it's just a matter of getting the rest of the work done. So things that are left, Tri-North is working on punch lists, so they're catching little small things that are completed. There's some goofy stuff that you run into where there's door hardware that needs to be changed or corrected, or things like that need to just get ironed out. And then paint touch up and all those types of things. So I don't think that there's anything significant that's left that's missing.
I think right now the main thing is the HVAC controls aren't available, so the second floor is about 100 degrees today. And so I'd like you to add that to the list for tomorrow's meeting.
Sure.
But I've been told that should be done by the end of the week, so as long as it's really done by the end of the week, we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, so we gave Tri-North a preliminary punch list that we walked through with on last Thursday. And then we've got another meeting tomorrow morning with them at 9 o'clock. And we'll just keep after all of those types of kind of last minute things. And then, there's a lot of little changes that are going on. So we don't have a change order for this month, but we're gonna have a pretty good batch that we're trying to get finalized by the end of December. And so when you guys have your meeting, the beginning of January, we're hoping that we can wrap all those things up and get to the bottom line with Tri-North. So that'll be kind of a big chunk of work that we've got to get through in the next few weeks. So we can get that finalized. And then, but there's positive things. So I'm sure you've talked to them about the big grant, but there's also an opportunity for us with some federal incentives for geothermal that didn't exist at the beginning of the project. So we're hoping that those become available, that we can still submit for the project for that. And I mean, the federal thing, you guys did a lot of hard work to get that, so that's huge.
And Jeff's helping us through the 10-item checklist
Well,
to wrap that.
the amount of work that Jennifer had to do to make that a reality was so good to you on that. So there's things that we need to do to close that out. We've also got the representative coming tomorrow to walk through for that. They want to make sure we actually built the library before they give us the federal money. Apparently, things like that happen, but I think we're in pretty good shape for that.
It would be hard to fake at this point if you walk through it, honestly.
So that's where we're at. Do people have questions? No?
Are you excited, Jeff?
I am. I am excited. I wish.
And he wouldn't say that if he wasn't, so.
I wish.
Wow.
No, it was fun. I was there on Tuesday afternoon, helping with some of this final coordination stuff, but just to see the activity and books going on shelves, and it's starting to come together. So that is very exciting.
Are you coming to our grand opening?
Absolutely. I wish we were in this position a month ago. If Tri-North gets occupancy tomorrow, that's what, I don't even know what day it is. Is it the 15th or the 16th? 14th. And they were supposed to be done substantially complete, meaning they got that occupancy permit on November 8th. So they're more than a month late. There's lots of reasons why that happens, but I don't like it when that happens. Anyway, I think Jennifer got everything adjusted and all's well that ends well. We just gotta get through the next few weeks, so. Any other questions?
Thank you for all your hard work.
Well, thank you. I appreciated the opportunity, so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thanks for letting me sneak back out of here. So.
Yeah. See you. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care.
Bye-bye now.
I just want to add on to one thing Jeff said about the elevator and just commend the Tri-North project superintendent. When we didn't have the elevator we were expecting, we had 2 installers who were relying on the elevator to put in second floor furniture. And when that couldn't happen, the one installer was incredible and they just carried their stuff up the stairs. And Tri-North carried up all the shelving pieces, probably 3/4 of the shelving pieces to the second floor. They had a crew of their team that probably did stairs for about 8 hours to get that to happen, to make sure we could stay on schedule. And without them, we would not be moving this week. So
Wow.
they went above and beyond to fulfill that commitment that they had given to us, that they would be able to get us the elevator, would make it right. And so we can't thank them enough. I literally was in tears, almost just being so grateful to the project superintendent and his crew of guys who were doing everything they could to help us out. And they could have easily not done that. And,
It's crazy.
so that's one thing. The other thing we've had challenges with that Jeff's not maybe involved in quite as much is the internet situation. And so we've been working, BadgerNet was, we had hoped to have BadgerNet in by November 1st, and for a variety of reasons they don't have fiber to the site and didn't realize it. And so the order didn't really get placed. And so that service won't be available until early in 2024. So we worked with South Central on Plan B, and now we're on Plan C, which is to use a different provider that we're using for our VoIP phones. And we've had some challenges with that today, which I think we're past that, but we're really hoping to have internet to the building in the next week. So that's been something that we're lucky to have a lot of people working with us to help resolve, and hopefully that'll be resolved in the next couple of days. And then the furniture installers have been great. We've got the furniture's shelving and office furniture are mostly installed. There's always some pieces that come damaged or missing, and so right now we're waiting for some pieces that are on back order for some of the offices, and some shelving pieces that they can't quite assemble without all the pieces. So those are, there's challenges, but they're, being great about supporting those and making sure they're, taking care of those challenges. But our staff has been great about working around not having an office space at the moment and whatever other, not having internet where their office things are. So it's been a little bit hard for workflow for staff, but they've been great, and installers have been great, and the vendors have been good. So we have more furniture coming on Monday, so all our comfy chairs and things will come on, tables and things will come on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday next week, and then our donor wall should be installed Thursday and Friday next week, so it'll be really neat to see that. We wanted to make sure everybody was done using the elevator and carrying things up so nobody would accidentally damage that. So that'll be great to see those pieces come together. Are there any questions?
Are you getting any sleep?
We are not.
Take care of yourself, Jennifer.
Yeah, everybody's working hard together, but it's a lot to do to keep on schedule, but everybody's working hard, so. Yeah. And then the congressionally directed spending funding, we have a 13-item checklist of which 10 items apply to us that we have to do, and a lot of them we can't do until the project is complete. So we need, substantial completion certificate. We need the manuals for the project, and so we're just not quite there with where they are in the project. So I'm hoping we'll have that checklist completed in January. The village did approve doing a short-term borrowing for us to, so we can pay the bills for that until the funding is received. Should we have any, if that happens, and then as soon as we get the grant funding, the loan will be paid off. There's a few other things in addition to that 10-item checklist. We need to do proof of insurance. Now that we have occupancy, we'll be able to do the proof of insurance. There's just a few things like that, but largely we've done everything that we can do at this point for that. That's all.
Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you to everyone that's been helping and keep this all moving. I know
We've had some great volunteers
Yeah.
too. Yeah, Laura came, we had the Observer came and did an article on Monday, and Laura came to help with that. So we've had great interest and great teamwork.
Yeah. So it was fun to see everything moving along and just how the staff was putting everything on the carts, and then the movers were pushing the carts on the truck, and then unloading, and then everybody, it was so seamless when I walked in, like middle of the day. It was just, I teared up. I was just over the moon excited and a little sad too, seeing empty shelves over here, but it was just, I was so impressed by how everyone's been working so hard together. So I really do appreciate everybody, and getting to show Tim around the new space. I really, really, really hope you guys are with someone when they first walk into the building and see the views, because the sheer awe on his face was breathtaking for me, having seen it a few times. So I just really hope everyone is able to be with someone on their first walk into the library. Yeah, thank you. Well, I guess that's kind of my report. I jumped ahead in the agenda a little bit.
Did you want to talk about the transportation committee that you attended?
Oh, yes.
As well?
Yes, thank you for the reminder. I also attended the transportation committee meeting recently on behalf of the library, shared all of the great things that the library does for community outreach for those that are unable to physically come into the building, in hopes that we will be able to continue those and grow those services as we hear needs from the community members who are unable to come into our new building. The transportation committee is looking for feedback from the public on those that are unable to come into the new library. So please feel free to reach out to me, library staff, the transportation committee, and let us know if you're hearing from anyone that's unable to get in, and we would love to work with them.
It's my understanding that there's like a book drop thing for like residents of the nursing homes that can't get out and
So we have a program where the library will bring books to anyone who isn't able to leave their home, or for whom leaving their home might be difficult for a variety of reasons. And then we do deliver to assisted living facilities or senior living facilities. So if somebody needs that, that's a service we can offer. We also had a bookmark that we distributed for folks that might be visiting the current library that might have transportation concerns. We heard from 5 folks that are tracking their information and making sure they know about services, and their needs aren't necessarily unique to a particular location, but in general. And so that's an opportunity to also connect them with other services perhaps available that will assist them. So we are trying to have those conversations and make sure that whatever solutions or whatever we offer for services really meets the needs of those who have those needs.
so we're ironing out all the issues that have popped up?
We're still collecting information,
Okay.
but we're also, you know, something we've been talking with the senior center. They have some grant transportation funds, and they're, you know, learning to find out what's funded, and then whether or not rides to library could be added as part of that service that they offer for seniors getting rides for meals. Or if not, you know, whether the library we could just bring over holds, you know, during a senior meal time, you know, on a certain schedule, so somebody needing to get library materials that couldn't easily get to the library could come get their meal at the senior center and then get their books or materials here
Sure.
at the same time. So we have lots of things we've talked about, and so we're kind of gonna kind of get settled and then kind of decide what things we want to move forward with, and kind of look at who we heard from in the community and what those needs are and what would best fit those folks.
Thank you.
So the work is ongoing for the transportation committee, but they are, you know, open to hearing feedback from the community members, and working together to find solutions for all transportation needs in the community. So look forward to continuing to work together with them to make sure everyone can get into this beautiful new space.
Cool.
Thank you for that reminder, Jennifer. Any village boards announcements, Carlene?
Yeah, actually, there's quite a few. Meeting on this coming Monday evening should be very interesting because there are several things that are happening. The comprehensive plan will be reviewed and approved. It's been in the works over the last several months and has had several iterations where folks have had an opportunity to give input, and that will be the final public hearing on Monday night, and that will be, there may be some final adjustments, and that plan will be approved. Also, the park plan will, the park board, so there will be joint meetings with the plan commission to approve the comprehensive plan, and with the park board to approve the park plan. And again, there'll be a public hearing time for that. In addition, we have an open seat on the village board right now after the resignation of Derek Belo. And so just before this meeting started, the packet came out, so I don't know. I haven't had a chance. I'm thumbing through it. It's 558 pages to find out who may have applied for that position, and then we will be using the same process that we used to fill the positions that were open after Bill became president and Janet Jacobson resigned from the board because of her duties as state rep. So should be a packed meeting on Monday with a lot of things that have been in the works, which would be the only things I would have to report on, being approved and a new board member being named. So if you are up for that, come to the meeting on Monday night.
Great, thank you, Carlene. Any school district announcements, Leslie?
I'll just share one of the themes from the superintendent's report at Monday night's board meeting. There were all kinds of fun classroom pictures shared and a discussion on what the kids were doing in all of the pictures. And the common theme was these were all exciting things that have been submitted by teachers related to what students are doing in their new reading and writing curriculum, EL, or expeditionary learning. It includes a lot of science and social studies within the context of English language arts, and kids are enjoying it, and the rigor is really high, and that's exciting to see kids rising to that challenge and having fun while doing that. So it was really fun to see the pattern because the teachers all submit things that they're excited about, and all of them happen to be the new curriculum. So it was pretty cool. And hopefully that means lots of future library patrons because they love reading so much.
Well, I know my third grader loves the new curriculum.
Oh,
so
I'm glad to hear it.
It has been a lot of discussion at our house.
Really? Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's very thrilled with how much he can write. So, as one does when you are 9.
Thank you, very exciting. Moving on to 7A, Dane County Library Service Agreement, an extension of library service.
So this is an agreement that we are needing to approve on an annual basis, just saying that we are going to agree to provide service to those who live in Dane County outside of the Village of Oregon, and then in exchange, Dane County will provide us some funding reimbursement for the calendar year 2024. And this is a standard agreement that they ask all libraries in Dane County that receive this county reimbursement to agree upon. So my recommendation would be that you approve the agreement for services to Dane County residents. Are there any questions?
It's standard.
Yes.
May I?
Yes, please, John.
Move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Coral. Any discussion? Waiting for Curly. Okay. All in favor of approving the Dane County Library Service Agreement?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we have an agreement. Extension of owner's representative services.
So Jeff, our contract for our services with Jeff Vine goes through the end of December, based on the contract that we had in place when the site conversation was had. We adjusted that contract through the end of 24. As Tri-North is still doing active things on the building, it would be in our best interest to have the services through at least the end of January on a monthly basis. So you're in your packet, there's a change order that would be kind of a prorated as a lower amount than his previous, original monthly service. It's about 50%, knowing that there's a little bit less work going in, but that those services are valuable, especially as we wrap up any final things that aren't quite wrapped up or need to be resolved, and then as we make sure anything that comes up under warranty needs to be resolved. Beyond that, he is willing to continue assisting as needed, and we could do that on a time and materials basis. So like if we needed a 1 hour call this month and then a 13 hours assistance another month, we could just have an arrangement like that. But for January 24, I would recommend we approve the change order, engaging his services for 1 additional month of January so we can wrap up the project with his assistance.
And just to clarify, beyond that, at a month to month?
Is that just for that month, and then after that we would continue his services on a time and material basis only as needed.
Oh, okay, got it.
Unless something else comes up in January, we would talk about it again.
Sure.
So is there a motion to approve this extension of Jeff's services?
I will move to approve the extension of Jeff Vine's services.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Thanks, Laura. Any discussion or questions, comments? Okay, all in favor of approving the extension?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody. Study room policy.
So 2 of the things that we wanted to make sure we had ready before we opened were the study room policy and the meeting room policy, because we know how important meeting room space is to the community. We looked at both the software we have available to us and how that works, and then also the policies of a number of area libraries that have been offering study rooms and meeting rooms for quite some time, and have had challenges that they've had to address in their policies as kind of our best practice. And so we came up with our best guesses where we'd like to start. When we weren't sure, we kind of erred on the side of being a little bit more restrictive, hoping that we can kind of see how things go and then maybe loosen it up a little bit rather than to have something and then suddenly make the rules more tight for people. And also we wanted to make sure that we were making access available to as many community members as possible. And so for the study rooms, we wanted to make that really easy to use, but we wanted to make sure there were clear expectations for folks using it. And so if there's any questions about the policy we presented, I'm happy to answer those or explain why we landed on something. But I think we'd like to try it, and then we fully anticipate after like 3 months we'll probably want to revisit it. There might be tweaks as we actually live in the space and use the software and have people use the room and tell us what works or doesn't work for them.
So is there a motion to approve the study room policy?
Makes a lot of sense to me.
All right, thank you, Carly.
I will make the motion to approve the study room policy.
Okay, thank you, Leslie. Is there a second?
I can second.
Thank you, Jeff.
I'll second.
Or Carly can. Discussion?
Yep, discussion, please.
Okay. I presume that this information will be provided to the study room users on an as-needed basis type of thing?
So when you want to reserve a study room, you can either do it on your own through this software that we have. Somebody could do that on a website, on a device like a phone. There's a QR code they could use that and take them right to the link. Or they could ask a staff member for assistance, and then we would have a copy of the policy there. So if you reserve it on your own, part of the request form makes you check a box and you agree to the terms with a link to the policy. So, people are saying that they agree to follow those rules as well. And most of them are pretty straightforward and won't be a challenge for most people to have to follow. But they would have to, say that they would agree to.
Agree, right, or they don't get the room.
To follow those.
How does that work with the kids?
So we wanted, because we have study rooms in all areas, we wanted kids to be able to make a reservation. Our unattended children policy does say that you have to be 9 years or older to be alone in the library. And so we basically said you can reserve it if you happen to be under 9. You just have to be there with a grown-up, and you could still reserve it yourself, but there just has to be a responsible adult with you for safety. But we didn't want to stop, a responsible 8-year-old from coming up and reserving the study room. As long as mom or dad were there and they were being taken care of, that would be fine.
But if my 9-year-old comes in and wants to reserve a study room, he doesn't need anything special in order to accomplish that? That's wonderful.
And doesn't
That's
require
great.
parental permission either?
It does not.
Okay.
Not for our unattended children.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as they're old enough to be in the library.
Sure.
On their own, then they would be old enough to use the study room feature.
Okay,
Amazing.
thank you.
I'm sure most of them could show me how to use the software.
Probably. Probably, right?
Oh.
Any other discussion, questions, comments? Okay, all in favor of adopting the study room policy?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right, opposed? All right, thank you. I guess we could have done meeting room at the same time.
Meeting room is a little bit more difficult because there are always things that come up with offering space to the community, and so I'm sure that's something we'll probably have to make more adjustments to. We did look at the village's recently approved meeting room policy for their facility after having their space be available for a while, so we looked at some of the language there. A number of the libraries in Dane County, again, you can kind of see some weird language, and you're like, I wonder what happened that item is in the policy for. But we kind of landed at what we thought would be the best, place to get us started, knowing that there will be things that come up. Right now, the study rooms would be intended to be available only when the library is open. For staffing and janitorial reasons, we would need to make sure that we can make sure the building is secure, that we can keep up cleaning wise and things like that. So that's where we're starting, and then the intent would be that the room would be available for free for anybody who wished to use it during those hours. In the future, we could look at after hours. The building is set up for after hours access, so if that's something we decided to do in the future, we could decide whether we wanted to follow the same policy or if a different policy would apply for those uses. And then we did start with a limit of, I think it's 3 reservations in a 3-month period or 4 in a 4-month period. I can't remember what we decided on, but just recognizing that we wanted to make sure as many community members as possible could use it, and then a group that met monthly would be able to use the room, and then we can kind of see how usage is, and if it's something we have a lot more availability, we could always make it more generous in terms of the number, but it would be easier to expand than shrink back after somebody had already scheduled things. So that's kind of where we landed with that. And then also wanted to recognize that not every group meets monthly, and a group might want to meet, might have a need, a week where they need to meet multiple times, but then maybe not again for another year, and we wanted to be able to accommodate both types of uses in that realm. Are there any questions?
I think it makes a lot of sense. Sorry. I think it always makes a lot of sense to start more restrictive and then be able to expand policies, because it's hard to pull back once you've had a policy in place, particularly because if this group did it and then this other end something went wrong and now the policy becomes more restrictive, a new group would feel like they were being penalized for something they didn't do. So starting more restrictive and being able to expand when there is or is not a problem or something comes up makes a lot of sense to me.
Thank you, Carly. The other thing I just want to point out is right now it does allow a 4-month advance reservation window, which will be great for some groups but hard for other groups. And the reason we're doing that is just because we need to make sure we can reserve the space for library use first for our programming. And until we can kind of get into that rhythm of how far in advance we can really plan, that gives us enough time where we can reserve those nights without reserving unnecessary times, but kind of find that balance and making it available to the community, but also meeting our needs first. So.
Question.
Yes, John.
Do I remember that, and I'm sorry, I don't have the floor plans in my head. Is there some kind of like a kitchenette feature
Yes.
available?
Yeah, there is a kitchenette available, and the software allows us to ask if somebody needs to use that.
Okay.
So that if they wanted to use that as part of the reservation, all they'd have to do is check a box saying that they plan to use it, and they would have access to using that as needed. Yeah,
So like a Rotary Club could have a meeting there?
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Just as an example.
As an example. So is there a motion to approve the meeting room policy as presented?
Moved.
Thanks, John. A second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Coral. Any further discussion or comments?
Can't wait.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Hey,
All
Laura? Laura,
yeah, sorry, Carly?
I have to go.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Carlene.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So all in
Aye.
favor of approving the meeting room policy?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We have policies in place for all the great meeting spaces we'll have available.
Woo-hoo.
Grand opening celebration. Fun stuff. I would love to highlight that conversation. So I would like to thank Laura, Kara, Kelly, Jenny, Jennifer. It's been a great pleasure being able to work with them on coming up with the grand opening celebration. It will be January 4th on Alpine Parkway at 4 p.m. with a ribbon cutting. And then following 5 to 7, an open house with refreshments and some treats, but also some great fun surprises like a scavenger hunt, creating your own bookmarks, signing our guest book with favorite memories of the old library or things that you're looking forward to in the new library, silent disco, what else am I forgetting? Photo booth,
Great time.
tours,
Tours.
yes, tours. So it's going to be a wonderful celebration, and I look forward to celebrating with everybody. John?
What's transpiring between 4 and 5?
The ribbon cutting, but we'll.
It's going to be an hour
The
event?
fancy
The
ceremony
ribbon,
cards.
yeah, the ribbon cutting will likely not be the full hour.
Oh, okay.
But we just wanted to make sure that people that wish to only come for a part of it would be able to do that, so that we don't want people to show up expecting to be able to start the other activities and then not be able to get in, or however we're doing that. So it just, it's likely the building will be open and people after the ribbon cutting will be able to go in.
Okay.
But the fun activities might, not quite start in every aspect. So, they'd still be able to walk around. but-
I was hoping for an hour worth of speeches, guys. I'm so
Well-
disappointed. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No,
That's not clear.
I just had to look up silent disco, but now I know.
Oh, yeah, no. So in the theme of being quiet in the library, right?
Of course.
Silent disco, wireless headphones, all connected to the same device to provide music to those wearing the headphones. So we can be dancing in the teen section, and
Not
nobody
bothering
else
anyone.
can be disturbed by our music. So,
I love this.
yeah.
I'm so
So
excited.
it's gonna be great fun. There's lots of fun little surprises, and it'll just be great to be able to show everyone the space and give tours, self-guided tours with the scavenger hunt, all those kind of things. So
Nice.
look forward to a great turnout. But thank you to everybody, Laura, Kelly, Kara. It's been great working with you guys on this. Okay. Is there anything I forgot, Laura?
I was hoping to have a detailed budget about the expenses, but I don't at this point. So I guess I would ask that you allow us to move forward with plans at the committee's recommendation, and that we would use our our fund balance, which is money that is from previous budgets that doesn't all get expended. So at the end of the year, if there's a little money left over, it rolls over into the fund balance. And now we use that as a one-time, because it's a one-time event, that we would use that account to pay for it.
Did you say
And we would-
fund
The
balance?
fund balance, yeah.
Fund.
Fund
Yeah.
balance.
Fund balance.
The fund balance.
And we would still be reporting to what those expenses would be at the next meeting.
Do you need a motion on that?
We should,
Okay.
yeah.
I would like to make a motion that you move forward with planning the celebration and intend to use the fund balance and report back to us, that you have the discretion to use it as you will.
Thank you, Laura.
That was really wordy, Laura, sorry. I get a little grand. I like to make a speech, apparently.
I second that motion. Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
Any discussion? No, all in favor?
Oh, yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm anticipating minimal expenses. Okay, proposal for end panel signs.
This is something that wasn't in our original project budget, but we have funds for this in the project based on revenues we've collected in our fund sources. They're just signs that will go on the end of each aisle that, will say what's in that aisle. So we have a proposal from Ryan Signs, and we just like your thumbs up to proceed with that, to help label the aisles.
You need that.
Recommend approval.
Can I ask a foolish question?
Yes, you can.
Why does it say non-ADA?
Because they don't have Braille.
Okay.
Because they're just, basically they're sign holders, so an ADA sign would have Braille on the
Okay.
sign itself. These do not have any wording on the sign itself, so there's no Braille because the sign is just a holder with, and then the insert, there's a paper insert that we would provide, and so if we move things around, you can print out a new insert and say what's in
That
the
makes
aisle.
sense.
And therefore, the Braille would be hard to do every time if we had Braille every time we shifted something, we'd have to redo the sound. That's why that's not.
That's completely fair. I just wanted to understand why it was
Yes,
non-ADA.
yeah. All the signage that we have on any room is ADA signage, so there's Braille on every sign to every room.
Because
in
it's
the rest of
permanent.
in the rest of the building. So like the story time room says program room, it has a room number, and that has all that information in Braille as well, and that's on every other room, but not the end panel signs for the
That
reasons
makes
we
sense.
discussed.
Thank you.
So is there a motion to approve the proposal for end panel signs?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Coral. A second?
Second,
Thank you, Jen. Any discussion?
what's the expense involved? Just out of curiosity.
It's in the packet, so the total for that, we added installation on that one because there's 180 signs, I believe, and they do it really well. So the total cost on that is just over $8,000 for the materials, and then the installation is just over $2,000.
Okay. Oh, there it is, yep. You gotta have it.
Yeah. And I appreciate the flexibility that you've worked into this, Jennifer, to be able to change things as the collection shifts, so I appreciate that. All in favor of the proposal for end panel sites?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Next meeting, Wednesday, January 10th. Location still TBD. Fingers crossed. At 5:15. Is there any requests for future agenda items? I hope to see everyone though before January 10th on January 4th. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Coral. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Laura. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.